Welcome to ThinkTank with Aman. I think he runs a amazing and a very successful marketing agency by the name Creative Street for over 9 years now and has worked with some amazing brands. To name a few: SBI, Dalmia Cement, HCL Tech, Philips. Why do small and medium enterprises fail at marketing?
Most small or mid-sized businesses, they don't understand the value of marketing.
According to you, is virality wrong to be gone after?
I saw in last many years of running this agency is that brands are running after volume, okay? Volume instead of the value that you can generate.
Favorite campaign of all time?
Yeah, I think Fevicol campaign, the iconic one where you had a bus and people were just
A marketing trend you secretly hate?
secretly hate. I think influencer marketing.
AI in marketing, blessing or chaos?
Marketing was one of the domains where AI entered the earliest, and I would also say has disrupted the most. What our pitch to companies or businesses or people in general is that if you're not going to be visible on AI, then you will not be in the consideration set. Right?
After a brief pause, welcome back viewers once again to Think Tank with Aman. Today we are exploring the world of marketing, next gen marketing for small, medium enterprises and startups. And I couldn't have thought of a better guest. Today's guest believes that marketing isn't about chasing trends, it's about creating lifelong trust. And that's how brands are created. As the founder of one of India's most successful marketing studios without external funding, called the Creative Street, he has worked with phenomenal brands from HCL Tech, Dalmia Cement, SBI, Philips, Paytm, to many more. He is the man behind the slow marketing movement. Let's welcome Neeraj Sancheti to Think Tank with Aman. Welcome Neeraj Bhaiya to Think Tank with Aman. It is my absolute pleasure to have you in this podcast today.
Thank you so much, Aman. I'm really delighted to be a part of this podcast.
For everyone watching, the theme for today's podcast is next gen marketing for small businesses and startups. And I couldn't have thought of a better name than Mr. Neeraj Sancheti. I think he runs a amazing and a very successful marketing agency by the name Creative Street for over 9 years now and has worked with some amazing brands. To name a few: SBI, Dalmia Cement, HCL Tech, Philips, and I think more than 50 plus brands. So very grateful to have you today, Bhaiya. Let us start with one question that is in the top of my mind. So India today has around 63 million small and medium enterprises, but बहुत ही कम ऐसे businesses हैं जो brands बन पाते हैं. So why do small and medium enterprises fail at marketing?
Okay. So I'll answer this in two parts, Aman. So first is that most small or mid-sized businesses, they don't understand the value of marketing, right? And inherently, most small businesses, especially, they are very founder promoter driven, right? Who is essentially running the entire show. So from sales to marketing to supply chain, production, everything they will themselves take care of. तो कहीं ना कहीं उनको मार्केटिंग की वैल्यू समझ में नहीं आती कि वो बिजनेस पे क्या इम्पैक्ट ला सकता है, राइट? सो दैट्स द फर्स्ट पार्ट. सेकेंड पार्ट इज़ कि अगर उनको मार्केटिंग की वैल्यू समझ में आती भी है तो भी मार्केटिंग कैसे करना है, दैट इज़ वेयर मोस्ट स्मॉल और मिड साइज बिजनेसेस दे फेल, राइट? नाउ व्हेन आई से दे डोंट अंडरस्टैंड इट, इट मीन्स एसेंशली दैट दे गो बाय हियर से, राइट? कि आज सोशल मीडिया चल रहा है, ये वायरल हो रहा है, इन्फ्लुएंसर के साथ काम कर लो, इन्फ्लुएंसर मार्केटिंग कर लो, राइट? फेसबुक पे एड्स चला लो, बट नोबडी रियली क्वेश्चंस द वाई बिहाइंड वॉट एवर हैज़ टू बी डन इन मार्केटिंग, राइट? तो मेरे को लगता है वो बहुत ही ज़रूरी है आंसर करना बिफोर आप मार्केटिंग में सक्सेसफुल हो पाओगे. एंड आई थिंक दिस इज़ एग्नोस्टिक ऑफ द साइज और स्केल ऑफ द बिजनेस. सो इवन इफ इट इज़ अ large enterprise, and we happen to work majorly with large enterprises, as you said, like HCL Tech, SBI, Philips, Dalmia Cement, and many others, right? So even if it is large enterprises or mid-sized companies or startups or SMEs, right? They have to really question what they are doing in marketing, right? And whatever budget they have, right? Whether it is 2% of their revenue top line, or it is 5%, 10%, 30%, whatever it is, they need to question every activity that they do, and there should be a reason behind it, right? So I think those are the two reasons why mostly they don't succeed in marketing. But having said that, I think thanks to the digital media landscape, where now there are a lot of influencers, a lot of content creators who are spreading education about marketing, digital marketing. So लोगों में अवेयरनेस काफ़ी ज़्यादा है, राइट? इंटरेस्ट भी है, अवेयरनेस भी है, एंड काफ़ी लोग ट्राई भी कर रहे हैं कि हम मार्केटिंग कैसे करें अपने बिजनेस के लिए.
True, I remember during one of my classes in ISB, so one of the professors बोलते थे कि small medium businesses marketing को liability की तरह देखते हैं, expense की तरह देखते हैं in the balance sheet, not as an asset. तो
Correct.
I think that is the first mindset shift.
No, even in large organization, I've seen CMO's major challenge is that how can he position his function, which is the entire marketing function, as a profit center and not as a cost center, right? एंड ये स्मॉल बिजनेसेस के लिए भी एब्सोल्युटली वैलिड है, राइट? और ये एक माइंडसेट चेंज करने की बात है जो धीरे धीरे होता है. इवन आई वर्क विद CMOs एंड दे डू इट ओवर द ईयर्स. यू हैव टू शो स्मॉल सक्सेस, स्मॉल विंस, कि आपने ये एक्टिविटी करी, उससे आपका कुछ ROI आया, बिजनेस में इम्पैक्ट आया. तो वो धीरे धीरे एक प्रोसेस होता है.
True. But in your experience, for all those brands that have done great marketing or people who have failed at marketing, what are the top 3 mistakes every brand makes at marketing or today's businesses are making in marketing?
See, whatever I've seen lately, first I think it's important to understand how the media landscape itself has evolved, right? So, for example, in our childhood, we had only television, right? Television and maybe radio. But today, if we look at the number of media channels which are available, that's massive, right? There's mobile phone, and within mobile, you have apps, you have OTTs, you have multiple avenues to do content consumption. So, given that evolving digital landscape, the top 3 mistakes that brands are doing, according to me, is first, the urge to keep doing new campaigns, right? तो बहुत सारे brands को, I'm sure you would know a lot of people or businesses who are running businesses of various size. They would want to do campaigns every month, right? And even many big brands do it, right? And I fail to understand, why do you need to keep changing campaigns or keep coming up with new campaigns, right? If you look at successful brands, which you can really say successful brands, say for example, if you have Fevicol, you have Amul, right? Or any of these iconic brands, Happydent, right? They have been talking about the same core message for last many years, right? Even if you look at Fevicol, Chutki mein chipkaye, Fevikwik, right? So all these brands, they stick to the same communication. They keep delivering it differently, but they don't fundamentally change their communication. So that's the first mistake that they do. Second mistake that I think businesses do is the urge to do too many things, right? उसका मतलब ये कि मुझे सोशल मीडिया भी करना है, मुझे इन्फ्लुएंसर मार्केटिंग भी करना है, मुझे SEO भी करना है, मुझे परफॉर्मेंस मार्केटिंग भी करना है, मुझे व्हाट्सएप पे भी कुछ करना है, मुझे इवेंट्स भी करने हैं. सो दे वांट टू डू एवरीथिंग, राइट? एंड आई थिंक एज वी हैव सीन इन आवर लाइव्स आल्सो, राइट, you need to in the end focus on a few things. That's when your effort compounds, right? Your outcome compounds. Similarly in marketing, I think you need to decide what are the 2, 3, 4 things that you need to focus on and just go after them, right? So I think that would be the second mistake. And third is just running blindly after AI, right? Which is more of a new addition to my list, I would say. But people are just blindly running after AI कि AI use करना है, but again nobody is really questioning why to go about it.
True. I think too many campaigns and doing too many things brings me to one more thought is कि everybody is also running after virality. I think I was reading somewhere कि the average human attention has dropped to 6 seconds.
Correct.
And dopamine rush की वो 1 second की reel जब famous हो गई थी, वो 1 second वाली reel, it was, I don't know whether it was a happy moment or a very surprising one. But so in a world where virality is the common, you are talking about slow marketing, and I'm sure you are also running. I was reading somewhere you're running a podcast around slow marketing.
Slow marketing podcast.
So what is exactly slow marketing, and how do you convince brands and businesses that slow marketing can generate better results for your brand?
Okay, no, great question, and I'm glad you asked this, Aman. Uh, so slow marketing is nothing but a mindful way of doing marketing, right? Where, as I was saying, whatever you're doing, there has to be a reason behind it, and you're mindfully doing it. Okay. So what I saw in last many years of running this agency is that brands are running after volume. Okay, volume instead of the value that you can generate. The
Volume in terms of?
volume in terms of the number of things that you do, right? So for example, social media, if we take that as a channel, then how many posts we are doing, right?
Got it.
Without really thinking about what is the quality of the content that I'm putting out, right? So that is one aspect of it, right? Secondly, for example, you want to get results too fast, right? But neither Rome was built in a day and neither brands are built in a day. So in that case, you also have to understand as a owner or as a marketeer that it will take time, right? And if you just run after quick wins, it is not going to help your business at all, right? So those are the few things which I think made me realize that we really need to come up with an approach, and slow marketing is nothing but an approach to marketing, right? So we came up with this approach, and this is only a year and a half back when I started talking about it. And honestly, I've seen so many people who are now getting inspired by this thought, right? And we are actively working with brands, helping them understand how to go about slow marketing, right? And by the way, slow marketing has nothing to do with speed. So a lot of people also confuse, okay, if you have to do slow marketing, that means you're doing things slowly, right? But it has nothing to do with that. So that's where we are, and we're getting very good response on that as well. And yeah, let's see how it goes.
So, then according to you, is virality wrong to be gone after? And is
See,
it really killing the real essence of marketing?
See, it's not wrong, but if I just rewind 10 or 12 years from now, when I was doing my master's in UK, my dissertation, the topic of my dissertation was actually what is the recipe of viral marketing. And I've been a marketing student. I did my undergrad in marketing, my postgrad in marketing. And the outcome of the dissertation, as a part of the dissertation, you have to look at a lot of research papers, etc., etc. There is no recipe for viral marketing, right? And I can bet that if you go to even the best marketeer globally and you tell him, okay, give me a piece of work that will go viral, nobody can give you in writing that it will definitely go viral, right? There are few things that you can try, but there is no assurance that it will definitely go viral, right? So that's first, and I think it is somewhere killing the real marketing because people are losing their focus, right? When they go to an agency or they go to a marketing partner, they essentially ask, okay, I want to go viral, right? But will going viral really help your business, right? So for example, if you're running a B2B business, right, you don't need hundreds and thousands of customers. You need a handful of customers, right? Then why do you need to go viral, right? You need to have very targeted approach towards marketing, right? So that's the thing, and I hope with our this initiative of slow marketing, more and more people understand about this and take a mindful approach towards marketing.
I hope. I think iske along with viral marketing, influencer marketing has grown a lot. I was reading, I think it is an industry around 3,000 crores by 2025. Uh, I am not sure how much it works. What do you think if we take startups and small businesses? Is it really worth the ROI that influencers are charging today? So I have heard influencers charging 3 to 4 lakhs, the top influencers if you take, charging 4 to 5 lakhs for a single post or for
They
sharing
they
a single
they
story.
charge up to 30 to 40
Oh
lakhs
my
for a
god.
post.
Oh
So
my god.
yeah, but yeah, I mean, see, influencer marketing again, and I actually read something today morning that this year influencer marketing spends have gone down by almost 45%.
Oh
You
my
know,
god.
but I don't know whether it has actually gone down because now you also have a creator economy on the side. Which is a subset of influencer marketing, but influencer marketing, it can be helpful for a brand, but only when it is done right, right? So recently what I've noticed is, especially for small businesses, local businesses, influencer marketing is of great help, right? So for example, if you have an influencer, right, and right now, for example, we are in Siliguri, and if you have an influencer who has good following from this region, then he can do great for your brand, right? But people don't get into those details, right? You go by, okay, this person has these many followers and is has great content, let's collaborate with them, right? But you have to really answer question like, are the followers of that person relevant for my business, right? Whatever genre of content he or she is creating, is that relevant for my brand? Is that person also working with competition brands, right? And we've seen a lot of cases, same person, same influencer working with three different brands from the same category, right? So how will the audience, generate any sort of trust towards the brand? So if done right, it can definitely help. And but I've seen small influencers, especially in the range of 8 to 10,000, 20,000 for local businesses, that is helping a lot.
One question just popped out very at the top of my mind is something around ki China introduced something called influencers should have certain kind of credibility or degrees before they speak anything,
Correct.
right? So just now it has gone very viral. Should this be implemented in India? What is your
Absolutely.
thought?
And I think China, if I'm correct, they've introduced this specifically for finance influencers.
Finance, yes, and I think a certain more sectors also.
Sectors, right? So I think absolutely in India, especially finance should be the first industry or segment in which influencers need to have certain understanding, certain, I won't say degree because we're not living in an era of degrees anymore, but a certain level of competence to be able to create content around it, right? I don't know the right mechanism to do it because given the number of influencers we have in India, but I definitely feel it needs to be regulated because we have seen, IPOs coming out and retail investors just jumping into it. And thanks to, a lot of influencers who drive that sentiment. But yeah, I think there should be something around it.
True. And as you mentioned in the beginning, that there are a lot of things a brand thinks, and they should definitely focus on one or two things. So, what according to you, if a brand or a startup today has just 1 lakh a month to spend in marketing, what are the top two avenues you think a brand should spend on?
See, it depends the kind of brand, the scale, at which level of marketing maturity they are at. But let's assume if it's a small brand doing a local sort of a business or a online digital business, right? So I think a lakh, I think 50% should roughly be spent on content creation, and where content could be social content or any other content, performance marketing content. So 50% should be on this content piece. 20 to 30% depending on whether it is a D2C business or a more consumer first business should be spent on performance marketing, which is reaching the right target audience. And rest, I think 20 to 30% should be spent on organically building the brand, right? So which could be doing things like SEO or spending on community building, right? So for example, I think community building on WhatsApp or any of the community platforms can go really long way for especially small businesses.
And what is your take on UGC? I mean, user generated marketing. I think it's gotten a lot of hype and real world credibility. So, what is your thoughts on customers becoming the face of the brand?
See, I think every time a customer speaks about your brand, there is no better marketing than that, right? But unfortunately, in India, UGC has taken a different turn altogether, right? So even if a person is talking about a brand, you don't know whether that person is actually the customer, right?
There are so
Uh,
many sponsored and incentive driven that
Absolutely.
makes the customer do it forcefully, I think.
And not just that, I think now with AI tools, you have UGC templates. You just have to put the script, and you will have a guy showing your product and generating a UGC content.
Scary.
Yeah, it is absolutely scary. I mean, we are not very far from a time when it would be difficult to differentiate between an AI content and uh, natural actual content.
No, true. So now let's come back to things with so many things changing. So, what are the top two things that will stay relevant always now or 5 years down the line in the world of marketing?
So I think uh, first would be communication, right? And within communication also, I'll put it differently. Having a differentiated communication for the brand, right? Uh, because no matter what the media landscape is, no matter how the consumption habits of consumers are changing, etc., etc., a brand will always be communicating with the customer, right? And cracking that communication is very important, right? So, for example, if you have a brand, right, who has a great product or a great service, right, but doesn't really mean that you have a great product, you will have people lining up to buy a product or service, right? Maybe there are competitors who have equally good product or service, right, offering at almost the same price. So in that case, it is very important for a business to have differentiated communication. कि जिसको हम advertising lingo में हम कई बार बोलते हैं कि you need to have a differential communication differential. If you can't have a product differential, you need to have a communication differential, right? Because that's how consumers will essentially remember you. So I think that's the first thing which will always be there, the power of communication, the brand communication. And second, I think, is community building, right? Community, again, as a channel, is something which is very difficult to crack. But say a small business, even if he has a WhatsApp group of 250 people who absolutely love the product, service, they will become the
Voice.
ambassadors and the voice, of that product and service. So I think communication and community building, those are the two things that will always remain relevant.
I can so relate to so many influencers leveraging their community in that manner. So
Absolutely.
definitely community building. Now coming to where everybody is today, AI. I don't know whether it's it is a reality now. Whether it's going to be good or bad, it's yet to debate. But how is AI changing the world of marketing? With marketing having so many emotions attached to it, how do you think AI is changing the world of marketing?
No, that's a great question, Aman. And I think AI marketing was one of the domains where AI entered the earliest, and I would also say has disrupted the most.
True.
And uh, I think it is both good and bad. Good in the sense that AI has actually helped expedite a lot of things. Things, for example, research, which used to earlier take a lot of time. Now, with the help of AI, you can actually do that research in a much shorter span of time. Right? But I think when it comes to marketing, the major use of AI is happening on the content creation front, right? Now, whether it is normal content which ChatGPT can generate to visual content like videos, images, etc. That's where majority of the spends are going when it comes to AI in marketing. Apart from that, there is a lot of AI also being leveraged in MarTech, marketing technology stacks, where AI is being leveraged to filter the quality of leads. So if you have gotten say 100 leads, then AI will actually filter which are the relevant leads for you and will further pass it on the to the pipeline, right? So those are the use cases, but I think we're living in a very interesting times, and I keep telling to my team, that we are living in an era. If you're not learning enough, if you're not updated enough, then you will be obsolete.
True.
So either another person who is better learned than you, either that person will replace you or AI will replace you.
True. I was just reading a reel yesterday. It says that if you spend today 1 month in learning about AI, you are 10 years ahead of the curve. I don't know how far it is true, but it seems very true.
Yeah. But again, I mean, I would take that with a pinch of salt because AI is also changing so much.
Yeah.
Whatever you have learned might not be relevant
True,
after 3 months or
true.
6 months. So
Now, I think one thing that you particularly talk about a lot is AI SEO. And I
correct.
think today, I think brands don't want to rank top in Google search, but in somewhere in ChatGPT or Gemini.
Hmm.
So, if a brand wants to list, what are the top three hacks that they can use? I think you have been a game changer there. So,
Yeah. So, I mean, before I delve into that, Aman, I'll tell you a small story. So, one of our enterprise clients, they were in a sales presentation. And during the sales presentation, the prospect whom they were presenting, he actually opened ChatGPT on the big screen and searched for the keyword. And thankfully, that brand popped up. And I mean, this story was being told to me by the CMO of that company. The point here being that now decisions are being made by buyers basis what they see on ChatGPT, Perplexity, or any of these AI LLM tools, right? And what our pitch to companies or businesses or people in general is that uh, if you're not going to be visible on AI, then you will not be in the consideration set, right? So, for example, it's as simple as, even if I want a particular product, I will go up on ChatGPT, look for it. I get a list of 10. If I don't get an 11th brand on that list, I'll not even consider. I'll only consider those 10 and maybe buy one out of them, right? So that's where we are. In terms of hacks, I think there are many sort of levers to go about it. But I think what has really helped is community sites first. So, for example, Quora, Reddit, etc. So the more you are active or visible on those sites, so LLMs are picking up a lot of responses from there. Second being review and rating sites, right? So especially in terms of B2B businesses or otherwise as well, even in say restaurants, etc., etc. They refer to a lot of review and rating sites, and they pick or they cite those as well, right? And third is obviously, high quality, as we say, guest post or article. So these are the three areas where we have seen that LLMs are picking up a lot of citations from these kind of websites.
Right, true. I'm sure everybody would want to now get into AI SEO as you mentioned the story. One thing that's I think the final question before this podcast ends is the future of marketing. So, what is one thing that you are most excited about in the future of marketing that you see 10 years, 20 years down the line?
See, I'm really excited about the way consumers or users behavior is changing online, and thanks to these LLM platforms, right? So only a few weeks back ChatGPT launched ChatGPT Atlas, which is its own browser.
Browser.
Sometime back Perplexity launched Comet, right? So with these AI first browsers, which will not just look for information but will actually do things for you, so if you have a, I'm sure you would have seen it, if you have a list of vegetable or grocery items ready with you, it will go automatically on these sites, add it to the cart, and you just have to go and put
in
the
the
payment
pin.
details
Yeah, yeah.
and check out, right? So I think that's the future, and that excites me the most, that with that changing consumer behavior, how will marketing evolve, and it's very difficult honestly to say today that okay, marketing landscape will be like this, but personally I'm just excited about how the user behavior is changing, and I'm sure marketing will figure out a way to.
Definitely. One thing, so you have been designing a lot of marketing campaigns for big brands like HCL. So what is your most favorite campaign of all time in the last 9 years?
So, out of what we have done, actually, I have two favorites. One is the campaign that we did for SBI, right? And it's a very interesting brief, actually. So, the brief from SBI was that we get a lot of hatred online, right? And people would, put comments like lunch time ho gaya, SBI wale to chale jate hain, right? Those kind of things. And that was the brief for us, that how can you spin it around and give a positive sort of rub off for the brand. So our team came up with a very simple idea, which is called kindness is cool, you know. एंड उस एड कैंपेन में हमने सिर्फ ये दिखाया था कि आप नॉर्मल लाइफ में बहुत ही एक खुश और काइंड और लविंग इंसान हो, बट वो सेम इंसान जब ऑनलाइन जाता है तो पता नहीं उसको क्या हो जाता है, यू विल स्टार्ट पुटिंग नेगेटिव कमेंट्स, हेट्रेड ऑनलाइन, राइट? सो it was just a way to tell people that you don't need to change when you go online, right? Just because people, you're not approachable, you're on the digital platform, right? And the entire thought was kindness is cool, but we had to do it very carefully. It was a thin line, and we were working for SBI, a very big brand. So that was first, and second, we did a campaign for Dalmia Cement, and this was during COVID. And the brief for us was that during COVID, obviously all of us know what the situation was, and construction was something like many other things which nobody was
Came to
even
a
thinking
standstill.
about,
Yeah,
right? forget even attempting or doing it slowly. So the brief for us was that when nobody's thinking about construction, forget cement, how do you still keep brand relevant? So we came up with a very nice insight, which was having your own personal space. And if you remember, when during COVID, all of us were stuck to our homes, and everyone wanted their own personal space. To take the meetings, to take calls, or simply, if you have to read a book, you need to find a space because everyone was at home. ऐसा नहीं है कि कुछ लोग ऑफिस चले गए, कुछ लोग बाहर चले गए, everyone was at home. So we came up with this thought of Apni Personal Space. That was the name of the campaign, where the thought was simple that in this situation, if you are stuck inside home, and if you're thinking about personal space, then talk to us, and we had some sort of toll-free number and a way to reach out online where you can share your stories, etc. How you're looking for a personal space. So the idea was just to make the brand relevant with this thing which was popping in everyone's mind. So those are the two campaigns which are my personal favorite.
Very interesting. And for a marketer or for a brand, whenever that brand is designing a marketing campaign, what are 2, 3 must-haves before they design the campaign?
So first is a very deep understanding of your audience, right? When I say deep understanding of your audience, then it doesn't stop just at knowing that okay, my audience is a male or a female, what is the age group, what is the location, etc. That's just demography. I think one has to move a lot beyond that. What is the psychography, what are the fears, what are the motivations, so those kind of things. So one is audience understanding is very, very critical. Second is what is that insight which is relevant for my audience, right? So for example, the insight in this Dalmia Cement campaign was very simple, that everyone is looking for a personal space. That's the insight. So similarly for a campaign, you need to come up with that human insight, right? And Piyush Pandey famously said, that great campaigns happen because of what you observe in life in general. He was not a big believer of doing research and data and all of that. He believed that when you're out, when you are going on a train journey, you observe people, and many of his work is actually inspired by just what he saw around him. So I think first is audience, second is your insight, and third is the creative leap, as we say in advertising. आप किसी को creatively कैसे दिखा सकते हो, and there you have multiple ways of doing this. So exaggeration is one way of doing this. आप कई बार देखोगे अब दिमाग की बत्ती जला दे, दिमाग में actually तो कोई बत्ती नहीं जलती है, right? So that's a creative leap, a creative exaggeration, a device of exaggeration being used. So those are the three things I think one needs to keep in mind.
So now we come to the most interesting part of this podcast, which is the rapid fire.
Yeah.
So the rule is very simple. I'll ask you 10 rapid fire questions. You have to be direct and you don't have time to think about it.
Correct.
Okay. So we'll start. First question is favorite campaign of all time.
Yeah, I think Fevicol campaign, the iconic one where you had a bus and people were just moving around.
Yeah,
so
very, very
done by
interesting.
Piyush Pandey.
Influencers or community building?
Community building any day.
One brand you think is completely overhyped?
I think cred, especially when it comes to marketing. So yeah.
True. Favorite tagline ever written?
I would go with Mentos, Dimag ki batti jala de.
How cool is it? I mean, every student relates to it.
Yeah.
AI in marketing, blessing or chaos?
I would say it is a blessing, a bit of a chaos as well, but
One marketing buzzword you wish would disappear forever?
viral marketing.
Virality.
Yeah.
Complete this sentence. The future of marketing is
Is AI plus human.
a marketing trend you secretly hate.
Secretly hate. I think influencer marketing.
Last question, and that's where we end. One thing you would tell your 21-year-old as a marketer.
Just be more observant about what is happening around you. I think that's where you get most of the ideas.
I think real marketing comes from there.
Absolutely.
I think we are done with almost all questions that I had in mind. So thank you so much, Neeraj Bhai, for doing this. I think it has been a fantastic episode for all next gen marketers, for all small businesses and startups. Thank you, viewers, once again. Stay tuned for the next episode.